In this video, we are going to cover using the audit repository. In SanteDB, audits are stored locally in SanteDB's audit repository database. This audit repository mimics the structure of an RFC 3881 or NEMA DICOM audit message. There are three key principles in this particular audit repository format. First are actors. Actors on an event are the users, devices, or applications involved in performing the particular action. Next, objects. Objects are the pieces of data, or rather supplemental data, which give context to what happened during the event. Objects might be the data which was disclosed or manipulated, amended, or deleted, or created, or it could be the query that was executed or any other contextual information for the event. Finally is the audit event metadata, which contains information such as the process ID, the timestamps, the submission, as well as any routing information through the SanteDB infrastructure. Once audits are persisted locally in the local audit repository database, they are optionally dispatched to a remote audit repository server using one of the audit dispatch functions. We can view the audit data in the local audit repository using the audit repository screen in the Security Center. This screen shows us the overall activity on the SanteDB ICDR or DCDR server if we're running offline. Each of these entries in the table is a single event which occurred on the SanteDB server. I can filter these events based on their various attributes. For example, I can filter by their action code, such as whether or not the particular action was an execution of a function, creation of data, reading, updating, or deleting data. I can also filter by the type of event. This is a codified list of event codes which have occurred in SanteDB. For example, I could look for any execution of an authentication event. Finally, I can filter by the outcome. The outcome code is one of success, indicating the operation was successful and unhindered by any issues. A minor fail, which indicates that the operation request failed. However, the policy and security system was able to successfully take corrective action, and the action which failed was handled appropriately. A serious fail indicates that the operation requested failed. The policy and security system was able to block the request. However, no corrective action could be determined other than auditing the fact that the system request failed. And finally, a major fail indicates that the operation requested has failed. The event was detected, and an attempt was made to halt the operation. However, it's not known whether there were any impacts to the security or privacy environment. We can also search by the actor name, which is the application identifier, device identifier, or user using the application which generated the particular audit entry. For example, if I wanted to see what demo admin has been up to, I can type in the demo admin user account name. I can then restrict my query to only those executed as a query by demo admin. And now I am viewing all executed queries performed by demo admin. We can click on the View button in order to view information about the particular audit event being represented. Here, I can see the overall event information at the top panel. This panel contains metadata about the event, including the event or incident identifier, the timestamp when the event occurred, the type of event that was executed, as well as the outcome and source process. SanteDB uses mirrored audits. This means that the DCDR will send an audit of the event with the information that it has for its perspective, as well as the ICDR also auditing its participation as a separate event. We can identify the particular source of this audit using the process which was used to send it. SanteDB is the process name for the ICDR, so I can tell that this particular audit was sent by the ICDR. If the process was SanteDB www or SanteDB DCG, that would indicate that one of the DCDR technologies was the source of this particular audit event. The network panel shows the source and destination information as well as the URL which was used to access this particular information. Here I can see that it was an unsecured HTTP request to the HDSI user entity resource, and I can also see the parameters used to query this particular information. The Users and Computers panel shows the actors which were involved in this particular transaction. For example, I can see that the OSS SanteMPI-L computer, which is indicated by the DICOM code for destination, was the target of this particular query. I can also see that the application org SanteDB disconnected client, which is indicated by the DICOM code for application, was also involved in this particular event. Demo admin was the human user, and I can see that there's a check mark in the R column, meaning that this was the requester of the particular action. And I can also see that there is the source node, indicated by the DICOM code for source, which was also SanteDB L, which are running on the same machine. The Data and Objects panel shows a list of objects that were interacted with and any additional contextual information for this particular event. Here, I can see that there was a provider record, a user entity, which was disclosed, because it's a disclosure, to the requester of this particular event. I can also see that there was a query executed, indicated by the search criterion ID type. And we can see that the security or the query executed was an HDSI query. If this were an HL7 version 2 message, then the query executed would be the QBP segment of the HL7 message. If it were a fire message, then we would see the fire query that was executed. The audit menu allows administrators to review only the audits which are stored on the local SanteDB audit repository. If you're running SanteDB in a larger deployment, your system administrator may have had an external audit repository configured to dispatch audits to a central location. This is typically done when there are more than one enterprise systems sharing clinical data. It is not possible with SanteDB's audit view to view the information which was sent or dispatched to the central audit repository. Rather, the central audit repository's user interface would need to be used. This concludes our video on the audit repository screen. Thank you for watching.